This was by far the best reading month I've had all year. Hey friends, it's Trinity, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys about the 10 books that I read in April. I was on a roll this month. All I wanted to do was read, which helped a lot because the last 2 months I was kind of slacking. So I'm so excited to share with you the books that I have today because honestly, it's a wide variety. There's a mixture of things in here. We got some like new favorites in this. So let me just fangirl about these books real quick. So I started off this month strong by reading Ali Hazelwood books. It's my first time diving into her. The first one that I read was The Love Hypothesis. And if you haven't heard about this, it's basically a PhD student starts fake dating this professor that like everybody hates because I guess he's a tough grader. And I felt like it was like what I needed at the time because I was craving a romance, and this honestly just fit the vibe. I also experimented with reading audiobooks for the first time like ever reading this one. So I switched between audiobook and just the regular physical copy. Honestly, loving audiobooks. They're really convenient when you have to like multitask. One thing I will mention in this book, there was a bit of miscommunication, and that is not my favorite. I see why it happened, you know, but it's like I probably would have enjoyed it better if it wasn't there. Overall, I gave this book a 4 stars. It was really good. I love the whole idea of it being like academic driven and her being a woman in STEM. Seeing that perspective was really different, but it was also so interesting and cool. This introduced me to Ali Hazelwood's writing and the way she writes her characters. And I just absolutely love it because then I read Love on the Brain by her, and oh, I literally love the main character B so much. I think that she was written so well and her personality is just everything. She's just so confident and bold and just said what was ever on her mind, and I just love it so much because it really made this book funny and entertaining. So this book follows B, and she ends up having to collaborate with her nemesis Levi on a project that they're working on together for NASA, where they're creating these helmets for astronauts. So this one has to do with like neuroscience and all that stuff, whereas this one has to do with research for, I believe it was pancreatic cancer. So in her books, you just get like different types of science, and it's so interesting reading from the perspective of someone who doesn't understand anything about science. It's like still fun, still entertaining, and I could keep up. She describes it very well in this book. Seeing how their relationship forms and how it goes from like standoffish to like we should be friends because we're collaborating to like, oh wait, we're feeling each other, you know? I will say it did feel a bit rushed at the end, but it all tied together, so it was okay. So I gave this book a 5 stars. It deserved it. It deserved the 5 stars. Just trust me. And then I read one more Ali Hazelwood book, and that was Loathe to Love You. And these are 3 STEMinist novellas put into one. So we have Under One Roof, Stuck With You, and Below Zero. It says, Mara, Sadie, and Hannah are friends first, scientists always. Though their fields of study might take them to different corners of the world, they can all agree on this universal truth. When it comes to love and science, opposites attract, and rivals make you burn. And honestly, this was my first time reading a novella, like ever, and I wasn't sure how to feel about it because they're so short. I realized that they're very character driven, and with that being said, honestly, I thought they were pretty good. My favorite of the 3 were Below Zero because I just felt like more connected to the characters, I guess. When it came to rating, I kind of just rated this whole thing together instead of them individually. So overall, I gave this a 3.5 stars. It was good, but I guess it just didn't do much for me because, you know, they were so short. So those were the first 3 books that I read this month. I did do a reading vlog on it that is coming out soon, so subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. And then I took like a wild turn out of nowhere. I decided I wanted to reread books from like 10 years ago. They're all YA dystopian novels because I guess that's what I was into when I was like 12. But let me put you guys on real quick because these books were so good. So the first book that I reread was The Program by Suzanne Young, and this book was kind of crazy, kind of deep, kind of wild, kind of sad, kind of really sad, but it was good. There is a huge trigger warning for this because it has to do with very heavy topics. But on the back it says, with suicide being now an international epidemic, one outburst could land her in the program, the only proven course of treatment. So basically in this society, they created a program which helps teens who are showing signs of depression, basically erases their memories. It's these 2 teenagers' journeys in the program. It was so fast-paced and such an easy read. I love both the main characters, especially James, because James was just such a perfect boyfriend and such a good supporter. I loved him so much. I ended up giving this book a 4 stars. It is a series, but I don't really feel the need to continue the series, at least not yet. But it was still really good, and I like the fact that it was different from any book that I've ever read before. And then I read the Legend series by Marie Lu, and this series was so good. So at first I just read Legend, right? Because I was filming a video of rereading books 10 years later, which will be out soon, just be ready. But after reading this one, I had to keep reading the series. Like, it was that addicting. So basically this book takes place in like a futuristic society, but it's still the United States, but it's clearly divided into the Republic and the colonies. It says on the back, from very different worlds, June and Day have no reason to cross paths until the day June's brother Matthias is murdered and Day becomes the prime suspect. June makes it her personal mission to go and find him. This book just takes you on like a crazy adventure, and I wasn't prepared to love it as much as I did, but this was a 5-star read for me. I loved Days and June's relationship and the way that they just worked together. I was not prepared for the plot twist that happened in here, and most importantly, I wasn't ready to develop such a connection with June's brother, Matthias, the one who literally dies like 60 pages in. But yeah, this book was so good. The next book I read was Prodigy. I don't have the physical copy with me because I actually listened to it on audiobook, but this book was so entertaining. In this one, you get a lot more of the world outside of the Republic and literally all the secrets that are going on with the Republic, and it's just so intense. Again, there's plot twists. It honestly just keeps you hooked. I gave this one a 4.5 stars only because the first book just did something to me that I wasn't prepared for. And then I read Champion, and this book, honestly, same reaction, so entertaining, crazy plot twist. It ended so crazy. It was such like a perfect way to end the series. This one I listened to on audiobook again, and honestly, it just felt like I was watching a movie. I literally don't know how else to describe it. I gave this one a 4.5 stars too, but overall, the whole trilogy, I gave a 5 stars because it was just, I still think about it a lot. And then I reread the Shatter Me trilogy. I say trilogy because I read the first 3 books, but there's like a whole series now, and I'm going to read those books, but I haven't got there yet. Rereading it is such a different experience because I really got to understand and pick up on Tahereh Mafi's writing. Honestly, reading this, it's like you're reading a poem. It's so like, what's the word? What's metaphoric? Is that a word? There are so many metaphors in here, and there's a lot of repetition. Just the way that she writes, it's like you're literally inside the main character's head. But let me go ahead and explain the series. Basically, this girl, the main character Juliet, her touch is lethal, so anything that she touches dies. And although she sees herself as like this monster, the military sees her as like this weapon, and so she's kind of like forced to be part of the military. So this is really her story and her journey. I gave this book a 5 star. No, I didn't. I gave this one a 4 stars. It was just so good. From the way it's written to the characters in the story and the action, it was so well done. And then I went ahead and read Unravel Me, and this one was so good. It's like I didn't know it could get like better, but it just continues to literally get better as the series goes. And this one, you're literally just kind of like figuring out more in this world, and you're meeting new characters, and you're being met with so many plot twists like left and right. There were so many times where my mouth literally dropped. And there's like this whole love triangle that literally starts to develop, and it's like, I don't know who I want her to be with. This one I gave a 4.5 stars. And then I'm almost done reading Ignite Me, and this one is literally, it's my favorite so far. It is so good, so well written, and I think it's my favorite because we're getting just a lot of the characters mostly. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely stuff happening in this book. We get wars, we get a whole lot in this series. We're really focusing on the characters, and the character development that goes on in this book is crazy. I literally have like 50 pages left of this book. I don't even know how there's only 50 pages left because I feel like we still have so much to get through. But I gotta remind myself this is a series. I got like 3 more books to read. And that was all the books that I read in April. It was such a good reading month for me. This is the most that I've read in a month and I am so happy about it. Honestly, shout out to audiobooks because if it wasn't for that, probably wouldn't have read that much in this month. I definitely loved majority of the books that I read in April. Hopefully May is gonna be another good reading month, but we'll see. But yeah, I think that's it for today's video. Let me know what books you read in April, and if you read any of these, let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like this video, and I will see you guys in my next video real soon. Okay, bye. Let's just, what am I saying? What the heck? Thank you guys so much for watching this book. What? Watching this book?